The session is resumed. The chair will now address the body. My dear colleagues in the House of Representatives, I thank you all for the support you've given me as your speaker this past year. It was my relationship with you, characterized by solidarity and unity, driven by our common resolve to work towards the good of our people, which I relied upon to fulfill my role in this institution. Because of your tireless work and dedication, the 17th Congress has achieved genuine milestones that will benefit both the present and next generation of Filipinos. The Secretariat happily informs us that from July 23rd of last year, 250 of our bills have been passed into law. Congratulations. These 250 new laws were among the 880 measures that we passed, which in turn were among the almost 2,500 measures we processed this past year. All these translate to our having processed 45 measures a day, a testament to the tough work ethic of you, the members of the House. Thank you for that. The 880 measures we approved include all the bills highlighted by President Duterte in his 2018 State of the Nation address. Early on, I defined our principal objective in no uncertain terms as to carry out the legislative agenda of President Duterte, especially those he highlighted in his 2018 SONA. In the President's 2018 address, he asked for 48 hours to sign the Bangsamoro Organic Law after our approved version would have been transmitted to him. Our chamber ratified it the day after the SONA and sent it to him immediately, and he also immediately signed it into law. The Bangsamoro Law is at the forefront of the game-changing legislation that we have helped to enact. It provides a clear and strong hope that decades of poverty and conflict in Mindanao can finally be addressed, making way for a more peaceful, intimate, and unified community. The law itself is the result of decades-long peace negotiations between government and the rebel groups in Mindanao, mainly the MILF. It provides an all-encompassing definition of the Bangsamoro people and paves the way towards the realization of genuine autonomy and more robust development in the region. Our security of work tenure bill was something that the President added his voice to those of workers who wanted us to legislate ending the ENDO. Last May 28, we passed the bill harmonized with the Senate version. It is now ready for signing into law. The President urged the Congress to convene the bicameral conference committee and pass at the soonest time the bill establishing the Coconut Farmers Trust Fund. He subsequently vetoed our enrolled bill, but the House passed a new version on third and final reading last May 27th. The President said that they and the Cabinet have approved for immediate endorsement to Congress the passage of a law creating the Department of Disaster Management. We passed the bill on third and final reading on October 1st, 2018. The President said that we need to switch from the quota system in importing rice to a tariff system where rice can be imported more freely. He asked Congress to prioritize that crucial reform, which we did, and he signed it into law last Valentine's Day. The Rice Tariffication Act supports our country's efforts to ensure food security and make our agricultural sector more viable, efficient, and globally competitive. The law lifts quantitative restrictions on rice, allowing Filipinos to have more access to more affordable rice. It also creates a Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund that will go to programs aimed at increasing the income of Filipino farmers. The fund shall amount to 10 billion pesos annually for the next 6 years and seeks to provide various assistance such as development of inbred rice seeds, rice farm equipment, and skills enhancement. The President said that he is committed to a comprehensive tax reform. He urged Congress to pass Package 2, which our chamber passed on third and final reading as the Trabajo Bill on September 10, 2018. The President asked Congress to take seriously and pass the mining, alcohol, and tobacco tax increase, reform in property valuation, reform in capital income and financial taxes, and an amnesty program. Our chamber passed the mining tax on third and final reading in October 8 last year, and the alcohol tax on December 3rd. And tonight, together with the Senate, we ratified the tobacco tax and is now being readied for the President's signature. Our chamber passed the reform in property valuation on December 12, and the reform in capital income and financial taxes on December 3rd. As for the amnesty program, the Senate worked with us to come out with an enrolled bill that the President signed into law on Valentine's Day. I am biased when it comes to fiscal health because I attribute the restoration of our country's fiscal health during my administration as what provided a platform for the Philippines to eventually regain its investment-grade rating internationally, as well as the infrastructure program that built more and better, a healthy fiscal position, and increased infrastructure. Those were my core economic policies as President, and they are among the core economic policies of this administration as well. Those were the economic policies that reduced our poverty level from 39% when I assumed the presidency to 26% when I left the presidency. It was all anchored on fiscal reform. Now, we have President Duterte's fiscal program, which has brought our country's credit rating to just a notch below A, and which is poised to take our economy to the next level of development as an upper middle income country. If we achieve this administration's target of reducing poverty incidence to 14% by 2022, our country's collective managers, economic managers, would have, in just 2 decades from 2001 to 2022, reduced poverty from 39% to 14%. This would be a collective achievement our generation can be proud of. The President urged the speedy passage of the Universal Health Care Bill. We complied, and he signed it into law on February 20, 2019. This notable bill ensures that all Filipinos will get the health care they need when they need it. This means that every Filipino will be enjoying the right to have health assistance by becoming part of the National Health Insurance Program. Forms of assistance include preventive, promotive, curative, rehabilitative, and palliative care for medical, dental, mental, and emergency health services. The President introduced a new fundamental law of the land. But since his cabinet members opposed the draft prepared by the consultative committee, our chamber passed what we hope is a more fiscally acceptable version on December 11, 2018. Despite great difficulties, Congress came up with an enacted budget, avoiding the large problems that a reenactment of the last budget would have created. I congratulate those who worked tirelessly to bring the 2019 budget to fruition. I thank the President for respecting the mandate of both the House and the Senate to participate fully in the process. Since the President vetoed a part of the proposed budget, in behalf of the members of the House, we have submitted to the Department of Public Works and Highways a list of the projects that the legislators would like to be implemented within the year. Our understanding is that the DPWH will check the projects that can be accommodated within its continuing appropriations or savings, subject to the department's evaluation on whether they are implementation ready. Many other notable bills were enacted in the 17th Congress, including the national ID system. Every Filipino citizen and even resident aliens will have a valid ID or all-in-one card for various transactions in the government and private sectors. To help our micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as our farmers and fisherfolk, gain greater access to financing, our Congress passed the Personal Property Security Act. Personal properties, apart from one's house, can now be used as collateral for a bank loan. On the need to support our countrymen, especially our youth, to obtain jobs, they will find greater support through such laws as the Secondary School Career Guidance Counselor Act and the First-Time Job Seekers Act. Other notable laws passed during the third regular session include those which sought the following: the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development, institutionalizing telecommuting as an alternative work arrangement for employees in the private sector, the Integrated Cancer Law, strengthening the policy on HIV/AIDS, providing for the special protection of children in situations of armed conflict, amending the Central Bank Act, institutionalizing energy efficiency and conservation. Indeed, we passed many other priority bills of the President, including those not mentioned in his 2018 SONA. Just last night, we ratified the Conference Committee's report on the Charter of the Cooperative Development Authority, the BCDA law, and the Davao Airport. Today were ratified. These bills are now being prepared for the President's signature. A truly working House we were. Even the recent midterm elections did not distract us from what needed to be done. I recognize and acknowledge the sterling assistance provided by our House Secretariat, from its leadership to its ranks, whose expertise and experience have been most instrumental to what we have accomplished. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat, Secretariat. In the first 3 years of President Duterte's administration, many good seeds were planted by way of executive decisions, the legislative agenda, strategic foreign engagements, and bold reforms. In the remaining years of his term, we just all need to help in the implementation to harvest the fruits of those seeds within President Duterte's term. That is why, as we finish the legislative agenda laid down by the President in his 2018 SONA, I then emphasized the importance of focusing on our oversight function because laws have to be implemented properly. We re-energized the oversight committees to untangle the procedural knots and ensure smooth implementation. we held 31 oversight meetings on 24 matters. Among the accomplishments of those oversight meetings was the implementation of the titling of housing lots for 100,000 households. I thank the various committees which responded ably to my call for exercising our oversight mandate. My concern has not been on my legacy as Speaker. My concern as Speaker was to support President Duterte's legacy in the year that I had as head of this House. For most leaders, legacy often boils down to a couple of sentences that define that leader's era. I won't presume to use Philippine examples to illustrate my point, but look at the great Winston Churchill. When all is said and done, what is remembered for, I think, is for his role as the rallying figure during the desperate days of the Battle of Britain, wherein he said, "Never had so much been owed by so many to so few." Look at John F. Kennedy. He is remembered for something as ephemeral as Camelot, that sense and style that the torch had been passed on to a new generation of his countrymen. In my case as president, I don't think I will have as dramatic a legacy as those giants of world history. I think my legacy will center around restoring our country's fiscal stability after a storm of financial crisis here and abroad. Our fiscal reforms expanded resources for infrastructure and development, after which, as I said, our poverty level went down from 39% to 26%. I thank God for giving me the real privilege to serve as president, which is the highest nationally elected position in the land, and then now as Speaker of the House, which is the highest ranking locally elected official of the Philippines. I thank God, but I also thank you because you elected me as Speaker. It was a pleasure working as a peer in Congress with many who were my allies and colleagues when I was president. But I'm also very gratified that as House Speaker, I was given more opportunity to work with our younger officials, our younger politicians. From what I have seen of them, their generation will serve our country very well indeed when their time comes. Congratulations to our young ones. We are all on a journey together. As our nation moves forward, let's all join hands in unity and walk confidently towards a better tomorrow. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you for giving me the honor and privilege of serving you. This session of the 17th Congress is adjourned sine die. Thank you. Thank you.